Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and hope you enjoyed the video of the squirrel eating this pumpkin right outside the tackle room door here. We threw out a pumpkin for Halloween, and it's just now, starting to sort of get mushy, and the squirrel's out there chowing down on it. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, today we're going to give you guys a preview of our first Bassmaster Open. It's going to be held next week down at Lake Toho in Florida. Southern Open. Lake Toho Kissimmee chain down there. Going to sort of give you my thoughts on that and let you know how I'm going to break it down. Maybe it'll help you guys out, with some things I do right or things I do wrong. But I'm going to keep you guys informed all week long. I'm going to start practicing down there this coming Sunday. You'll get 3 practice days, and then the tournament starts a week from in a week from there, which would be February 3rd is the first day of the tournament. And should be interesting. Looking forward to that. But hey, real quick before we get started, just want to remind everybody at the end of the month, at the end of January, and also when we hit 55,000 subscribers, which ought to be probably in about I'm going to guess a little over a week from now, we're going to be having our next drawing for Bridgeford cases of Sweet Baby Ray cases of Bridgeford Sweet Baby Ray beef jerky, solar bat sunglasses, Seagar fishing line. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel to have a chance to win that. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, that'd much appreciated if you could do that. And if you've already subscribed, you're good to go there. So got that taken care of. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about Toho Kissimmee. I'm real familiar with the water down there. I fished a bunch of tournaments there over the year. I was even there when Dean Rojas set the record for 45 pounds. 4 ounces or 45 pounds 2 ounces back in 2001 at that tournament. And I'd fished there before. I actually fished, the first time I fished it was in 1984. I qualified for the BFL All-American on Lake Toho, which was the first time I was ever away from home fishing a tournament. So I've fished a bunch of tournaments on Toho Kissimmee. Very familiar with the water down there. And I'm sort of going to give you my thoughts on the tournament a little bit, my approach to it. First of all, I decided to fish the Southerns this year because the Central Bassmaster Opens conflicted with the Toyota Series right here in my backyard. We got 3 tournaments on the Toyota Series super close. We got Truman, Lake of the Ozarks, and Grand. I did not want to miss that schedule out this year, so the only way I could fish that was by fishing the Bassmaster Southerns, which I'm going to. So we got that our first one there, then our other 2 are later in the year. But anyway, my plan for this tournament, like I said, there's nothing in these Bassmaster Opens. There's really nothing to gain in them except trying to win the tournament. I mean, they only take 3 people to the Elite Series, which is ridiculous. Out of 225 guys, it's like winning the lottery to qualify for the elites there. So from that standpoint, nobody can enter the Opens, with a realistic chance or expectation that they're going to finish in the top 3 in the points. I mean, you just can't have one single bad down the water. But for me, it's more about throwing my hat into the ring to try to win a tournament, qualifying for the Bassmasters Classic. I think that's why those Opens fill up so much, is everybody has got that carrot dangle in front of them, to make the Classic through that route. So given that, in this situation, I'm approaching this tournament at Toho a lot different than what I would normally approach a tournament. If I was fishing a circuit that had a championship to qualify for, where you had to have some level of consistency, I would approach it completely different as far as the techniques that I use. But going down Toho right now, there's basically a handful of techniques that I'm going to try down there, and I'm going to stay with them. Those are the tournaments that I feel that can produce the winning fish down there. And in my opinion, I've been watching the weather patterns close. It's been extremely cold down in Florida. It's going to be cold up until the early part of next week, and then they'll have a gradually warm trend. But it's not like we're going to get down there and these fish are up ready to spawn. It's just not going to happen. This is going to be a hardcore pre-spawn tournament. And in that situation, there's, in my opinion, there's a handful of ways that tournament can be won. It could be won doing, some type of a pitch and flip and bite is going to be a top contender, whether that be flipping mats, punching mats, or flipping more isolated type cover. That is going to be a huge player in there. The person that can identify the area of the lake that's got a lot of big females moved up into it and identify the type of cover they're in with the right technique could possibly win that tournament. There's also going to be a possibility of the tournament getting won offshore. I don't really know the grass situation down there right now. It changes year to year, but there's definitely a potential for that tournament to get won offshore. So the way that I'm going to approach this tournament is I'm going to spend half of my time offshore fishing, half of my time pitching and flipping heavy cover. And in the normal situation, I may be up there. I may move shallow in and out, fishing a wacky rig, fishing a top water, fishing a fluke, stuff like that, just oddball stuff that you can get a lot of bites in, but they don't usually produce the winning size fish. So I've narrowed my approach down in this tournament to fishing, figuring these fish out offshore half the practice and flipping heavy cover the other half of the practice. And I think that's a pretty good plan with that. But the thing about it is, one of the biggest considerations that you have to make when you're fishing Toho Kissimmee is which lake do you want to fish. There's 5 lakes that you can possibly fish there. You've got Toho, you've got Hatch and Haw, you've got Cypress, you've got Kissimmee Lake. I think there's another lake called Tiger Lake. Kissimmee and Toho are the 2 largest ones. The other one are smaller. And all of them could play a role, a role to some extent in there. The problem that you have at Toho Kissimmee is you've heard about the famous lock down there. This lock is a nightmare. Normally in the tournament, 60-70% of the people will run down to Lake Kissimmee or those smaller lakes. So you've got this traffic jam every morning in the lock that only holds, just a dozen boats or so, 15, I can't remember, 12 or 15. So you're basically sitting around waiting. You've got the option of either getting in line and waiting your turn and killing an hour, or you can go fish in Lake Toho for an hour and then get in the back of the pack and you're the last one down to Lake Kissimmee. And then when you get in the lock, it's always, scratching your boat against other boats, and it's just a bad deal. And then coming back, you don't know how much time to allow because you don't know who's going to be coming back when, so you have to arrive early. So going down to the lower end of the lake, it's a gamble to extent. I mean, you've got to be on some good fish down there. You've got to be able to go down there and catch them. And a lot of people do that because really the better water most of the time is south. Lake Toho is a good fishery, but most of the tournaments, I think, are won south of the lock throughout the course of the year. So that's the determination that I'm going to make on there. And I've got to really just sort of get a feel for it. I'll probably fish, one lake one day, another lake, one lake one day, another lake the second day, and the last practice day, based upon how I do in those first 2 days, I'll spend my 3rd day in that lake that I think that I want to fish in. I think everybody, if they wish, if they could, they'd rather stay in Lake Toho, not to mess with that lock. But Lake Toho can be tough. I mean, like I said, it doesn't fish real big. A lot of times people get wadded up on the same water, and that's typical in Florida because Florida's got a lot of dead water. And most of the time, any Florida lake that you fish, there's going to be certain key areas of the lake that have the right combination of water clarity and cover. And everybody finds that, and everybody winds up in that particular area right there. So that's always the big challenge when you're fishing Florida. But Florida, for me, guys, it's all been about area. I mean, I've done really good in Florida. I've come close to winning. I've finished second in Bassmaster top 150s down there, second in FLW tournaments. I've done good and made a lot of top 10s. And every tournament I've ever done good in, it's a spot. It's basically an area that's like maybe an acre or 2 big that you found the fish in, and you just circle it over and over all day long. And that's how you do good in Florida. Florida is a terrible pattern lake to fish. You can't really run a pattern in Florida and do well most of the time. It's very rare if you do that. So anyway, that's just sort of my game plan in it. I look to do either really good or terrible. I look for my name to be in the top 20 in a tournament or the around 150th. I don't think there's going to be much in between because like I said, I'm going to go down there and fish just a limited amount of techniques that I think have potential to win the tournament. That's the way I feel that's the way to fish these opens. There's no money to be had in them. The Bassmaster opens are the ultimate money pit. Payouts are terrible in it. Competitions is stiff. It's full of guns. It's full of local guns. It's full of Bassmaster Elite pros, full of FLW2 or MLF pros. So the only thing you can go down there is treat it sort of like the lottery and try to win the tournament. And that's what I'm going to try to do. But I'll keep you guys updated. I'll give you guys a pre-practice or practice report every day of practice and the tournament report. I'll get the GoPro on the boat, during practice and the tournament, and try to get you guys some footage down there. And I appreciate you guys following along with it. Much appreciated. Looking forward to this season. Looking forward to bringing you all the stories and information from this upcoming season, from the things I do right, the things I do wrong, and maybe everybody can learn something from it. So again, thanks for tuning in, guys. And again, please hit that subscribe button if you want to have a chance to win all that stuff coming up next week, that free giveaway. And we'll talk later. See you.